Hi everybody, Mark Cleghorn here. I was just winding up the video guy. He's doing this to me as if we're live. I've asked him for signs for about 3 weeks to go, you're on. Anyway, welcome. Mark Cleghorn here for the Photographer Academy. Thanks for joining me live on another session. Remember, we're live at 5 every Wednesday, UK time where possible. And we're in the middle of kind of 6 weeks of boudoir training. And we've got an amazing model, Kelsey, with us. She's our main lockdown model, as it were. And today we're kind of looking at edge lighting. So it's a technique thing today. Lots of lights, sorry, okay? But it's a technique, and even though there's lots of lights here, we can do it with natural light, we can do it with artificial light, LED light, room light, torch light, you name it, we can do it. Just Studio Flash makes it a lot easier for me to kind of really demonstrate kind of switching the different lights on and off to get the great effects. Okay, so if you're not aware of the Photographer Academy, we're an online training company for photographers. Now in our 13th year, we've got thousands, I think there's over 3,000 films available to stream live with us. We add 3 new films each week, which now include our AcademyLIVE as well. So if you haven't had a chance to actually go over to the Academy, have a little look. It's 59 quid a year or 99 quid a year, no extra cost with it at all. It's 99 quid, gives you everything there, including our bi-monthly magazine, app download, etc. So what are we doing? So I thought we'd kind of look at how light is reflected off surfaces and how we can actually create three-dimensional form. We've got Kelsey in a bit of a kind of a wet look, a PVC kind of cat suit, I think it is, or whatever. I'm a bit too old to actually know what these things are, but it looks very cool. I've been shooting a very, very similar style for a very, very long time, originally inspired for this kind of imagery from the likes of Bob Carlos, Clark, and so on. Anyway, what we're doing is kind of looking at what the different lights do, how to actually separate, how to get some fantastic edge lighting. Whether you're photographing a subject like we are today, or you're shooting a nude, or you're shooting a chef, it doesn't matter what you're doing. Basically, it's understanding what the light does. We've technically got our main key light here, which is a honeycomb beauty dish. I'm not sure if you've got any camera that can see it, but basically behind this honeycomb grid is a beauty dish, okay? A beauty dish, if you imagine the flash kind of comes out of here and tries to go forward all the time, but there's a little cap inside that goes, oi, stop, bounce back into the dish, and then come out in a wider, softer dynamic way. That's great, but of course, we're working with the likes of the grid to control the light source down. You might see we haven't done this for product placement here, all right, I promise you, but I want you to know the main thing, this is one of my beautiful pieces of kit, and it's one of the things that you can pretty much, I've got to buy a new one about every 5 or 6 years, because if you see me work in studio, I do kick stuff around a little bit. However, this is the only box I still own with any equipment, because the grid goes into it if it's not being used, and it's even got its own bag. Anyway, so that's our main light source. It's an Elinchrom ELC, I think it's 1,000 head, is it? Don't know what we put on there. It's 1,000 head, but it doesn't matter what it is as long as it gives me the right light. In the background, we've got 2 lights exactly the same. So they're both 500 ELCs, but the way the Elinchrom lights work, of course, as long as they're on the same power, as long as they're the same accessory on the front, as long as they're the same distance away from the subject, basically they're the same. Obviously, change one of those dynamics, you know, remove a piece of diffusion, move them a foot closer, foot further away, whatever it is, it's going to change its exposure. We've got the egg crate solve. This is just to control the light, but don't worry, you can do it with a strip box, or even if you've got only square boxes or rectangle boxes, just get some bit of card, good on the side to narrow the light. We really want to narrow the light in here. So if you imagine we're trying to kind of light a commercial product today rather than just a portrait, as you'll see when we get going. So both of these are the same, both got the grids on. These soft boxes are the Photics 40 by 180. I'm using 85mm prime. We're shooting with the Elinchrom Skyport, that's what trigger the lights as such. And then this orange cable is the one I love, of course, and you're the one you love as well, because you get to see the truth of the image. I'm a firm believer in not setting anything up through any presets here, whatever. I want you to see what is the JPEG on camera. Now remember, I always shoot a JPEG and a RAW file. And in seconds, it sends it from the body, the Tether Tools cable itself, sends it to the laptop into Capture One, and it takes the RAW and the JPEG file itself. The USB cable, of course, is protected by this jerk stopper that stops it from pulling out of the bottom. I don't think I've forgotten it. Oh, questions? Remember, get them in as soon as you can. Obviously, we'll answer them live at the end. But I think let's bring on the talent, yeah? And that's not me. Kelsey, come on in, darling. So I've got a little bit of white marker on the floor there for you anyway, please. So let's just kind of look what we're doing. I do have this other little light, which will come to play in its game with us soon, okay? But for now, I'm going to switch it off, and we're just going to put it away so you're not getting confused. So technically, we have a 3-light setup in here. So let's just take the first shot. Let's shoot with all the lights. Always good idea to actually do your first shot to make sure everything works. And all I've done is basically set up the color on the look of the image to be black and white, okay? So that's what we're doing. If I quickly swap it into color mode on camera, same shot, you'll see that I haven't done any trickery, it's just there, okay? But we are looking at black and white. So I want to go there, back into my monochrome setting, and we're ready to go. So like everything, let's kind of go to simple pose first. Let's kind of go strong woman for me. Slightly twist the hip just around towards here and turn the head back to me, please, Kelsey. More. Okay, so let's look at what these lights are going to do in turn. So let's look at what is the first image. So in other words, group 1. This is going to be the key light itself, okay? So it's quite a big gridded light, and you can see what it's doing. It's a hard light source, but it's soft light source in the same breath, because obviously it's a beauty dish, and by design it's designed to be soft. However, it's sharper than a softbox. So that's our group 1, and the reason that we've kind of gone for the PVC look today is that you can see on the body where the light touches all the time, and it's an important thing to note all the time. Let's see what the left-hand corner light is doing. So this is group 3. And that gives us this light. Now, obviously, I haven't protected Kelsey's face because she's turning a little bit towards that light. But if I swap across to its sister, in other words, the group 4, exactly the same, its twin, and we do the same shot, because her head is turned away from the light source, we've got a totally different look and feel. So the first thing to look at, though, is now we've got this lovely rim light, or this edge light, coming down the side. It's lighting the inner part of the left arm as we look at it. It's lighting the inner kind of torso. It's lighting down the side of the right buttock as well, and obviously lighting through the hair. But really what we want to do is make sure that Kelsey is looking towards camera position. Let's go back to group 3 again, which is the left-hand corner. Turn the head round towards here, Kels, please. More. That's good, just there. So now I've lit the body, protected the face, but there's no light on the face at all, really. There's only the natural light that is in the room here, which obviously we don't really want to actually kind of record. So let's just remind ourselves what we're looking at. This is group 1. This is group 3. And then this is group 4. So if you look at those on screen, you can pretty much see the difference that they're doing. What we want to do, though, is protect the face where possible and light the body. Okay, let's put them all on together and kind of just look at some kind of images first. So now we've kind of understood what the lighting is doing. Now we can kind of just a little bit of a change in the pose. This is all 3 lights together. It's doing its job. It's giving us some good edge. We can see what it's doing. We definitely need to, it's brought to you by Coke today. I can't reach it down there, dude. Anyway, we've got lovely shape in the body, and Kelsey knows already when you're dressed in black and it's a wet look, you've got to suck in no matter what, because otherwise it shows every fold. That's why I don't wear one anymore, Kelsey. Okay, let's turn the body back into me. So let's go Superwoman again. Lower the chin down a touch more. Nice shot. kind of this will go through right down to the bottom of the calf as well, because the lighting is low. Those strip boxes in the back, as you can see, are pretty much designed to actually light the direction. Let's just do the kind of the hands behind the back for me, Kels. Lean forward towards me a little bit, lowering the chin just a touch more. That's cool, just there. Let's bring the body up straight now, so stand perfectly square on both feet for me and turn towards me. That's lovely. Lower the chin again, keep it. Let's bring the hands down towards the front just a little bit, lower the chin again. Try and not soften the pose, so go very strong woman. Stand up square, hands just actually in front of the groin, lowering the chin again for me. Keep it. So keep the body perfectly still and now put the hands behind the back for me. Okay, that's great, just there. All right. So we got a really strong dynamic image, no real work at all. If I want to actually just shoot with group 1, I've not got a problem, as you can see. I just select on the skyport here, the group 1, and then basically it only fires the key light. But if I want to just fire the left-hand edge light, I have to kind of just put it into group 3. So let's shoot a butt shot using edge light. Okay, so remember that was group 1. Now let's use group 3. So Kelsey, if you turn the body that way for me, please. More. There you go. Well, let's go profile first. Okay, let's just, yeah, I like that. Turn the head to me more. Can you push the hair backwards for me fully? And the back hair as well. Turn the head. That's lovely. Okay, let's do it. Now remember, at this stage, there's no light onto Kelsey's face, so you can look that way or do what you want, but there is no light going onto it. So all I've got is the kind of the edge lighting running down the butt. Now, of course, this is perfect when we start to actually shoot the likes of a nude image or a boudoir image, and kind of you get the kind of graphic of it. Kels, just turn the butt to me just a little bit more. That's it. Whoa. Look away from me a touch more. Lower the chin. Let's do a faceless image. Turn left with the face more. That's good. Okay, so we've got a great image there. The biggest problem now, if I want to actually have a group 3 and a group 4, so another double edge, the only way for me to do it is to go to all, which means I have to switch this light off. Okay, so that is technically not going to fire because I've switched that off. If I go both to all now, so in other words, now we've got group 4. This is coming in from the right-hand side. This is going to light the bust, light the face, and everything else with it. So again, once more, if this was a nude, it'd be great. Kels, let's bring the hands just behind the back for me again. Sucking in just to actually and stretch high. Turn your face around to the right for me a little bit more, darling. More. No, to the right, my right. That's lovely there. Look straight ahead if you can in profile. Raise the chin high. That's gorgeous. Keep it. Relax. So we got a lovely kind of strip light coming down the edge. And of course, if I want less of the effect, I can either move the light or I can move the subject. Kelsey, if you just move up to me just a little bit. That's lovely. And then do the same shot. Keep it. And go back to the same point for me if you can. You can see what we've just softened that light down just a little bit. Let's do it again, please, Kelsey. That's gorgeous. So we've got a great looking image here, nice and sharp. Let's see both lights together. So now I can go to all. Let's do the hands at the front, almost leaning forward more. So drop the head down. That's great. So remember, the group 3 is our butt shot. Our group 4 is to bring the edge in there. Kelsey, bring all the hair around to the left shoulder and down the front if you can. Be aware of this because it can look like a beard. You don't want a beard, do you? No. So just looking down again, looking away, that's great just there. Turn the butt away, butt to me a little bit more, whoa, and turn the head to the right more. Right, there you go, it's gorgeous there. Okay, let's go Superwoman with the actual hands on the hips for me again. Keep it. Excellent. So we've edge lit the back and the butt. We've got a good, strong kind of frontal light as well with it and things really. It's kind of dynamic. Why is it dynamic? Because all the light is coming from behind, yeah? And so we know, as we've discussed with the clock and compass session that we did a couple of weeks ago, that realistically, if you want more dynamic lit images, allow the light to come from the 9 o'clock position around to the 3 o'clock position in a clockwise direction. When the light comes from the 3 o'clock to the 9 o'clock position, it flattens and fattens. However, the 4 to 5 o'clock position between the 2 and between the 7 and the 8 o'clock position is kind of perfect for portraiture, for kind of families and kids and kind of general portraiture anyway, it works really well. Okay, so let's we switched group 1 back on. We've still got this great image of Kelsey. Let's turn in the head to me, please, Kels. That's gorgeous there. Keep it. So this is just with group 1. It's dynamic anyway. Let's pop our, one sec. Let's do that again. Let's pop our the side lights on as well. Let's go into all. And it's going to now deliver. Let's do the hands as a kind of a prayer like. That's it. Lower the chin a touch more. Keep it. Nice shape of the butt now. It's going to really show up with that side light again, things really. So you can see why when you're beginning to learn your craft in lighting, black and white is a really good way for you to actually see the tonal range as far as how much is white, how much is black, and all the kind of tone between. You know I'm using a meter the whole time, so I just don't want to sit down and take a short look at it and go, oh, okay, because that's going to take me longer than going to a meter and say, right, make this F8, make this F4, and so on with it. So again, think about what you are trying to create. I would say, Kelsey, if you turn back to me again before we do some more shots, let's do the wide leg again, and just the hands very, very straight down, very Uma Thurman, Kill Bill. Lower the chin again. Love it. So we've got a really nice shot there, but I think we need to actually give a bit of uplight. And this is why I had this other little light on the side. Video guy Brandon is breaking the place. So I've got this other little light, and this is a kind of a, well, I love this light. This is just the most cost-effective Elinchrom product that they do. It's a D-Light 1. And on the front, I've just got a little porter light, which is a small little octa. And you're looking for a strobe, it's probably, I don't know, 400 quid, 500 quid for a set of 2. So it's kind of realistic. I might be quoting old figures, I'm sorry. But around about that figure is what I paid for them anyway, kind of thing. But it's so light, and if I put it on a normal stand, I can basically control this light by hand with it and things really. So as long as I've kind of done the exposure to begin with, I can start to actually use this light in a very, very manual way, whether it's with me or with an assistant. I'm just going to flop this head a touch because I want it to uplight with Kelsey. So we've seen that image there, this kind of very strong kind of dynamic image. You can't help. Let's put that hands long again, just down the sides, on the sides of the legs. Okay, so let me just show you what, well, let's show it what it's going to do first. Yeah, let's do it. Keep there. So without the other lights kind of going off, the bottom light is just going to give us a horror effect. So if we just go into group 2, this is just on group 2. Lower the chin down, Kelsey, a little bit. So this is just the, oh, that's the beauty dish. That was group 1, your donut. Okay, that was me, donut, not you. Okay, you can tell I eat too many as well. But that's a different discussion. Okay, you can see now, because the light is low, it's given a very, very kind of uplight, a horror kind of light of image. Like I mentioned though, if you've got a small little strobe or a flash or whatever that you can control as easy as this, you can kind of dynamically change. Just with hands to the side for me again, Kelsey. That's lovely, darling. Okay. So from here, I can basically change the style of the image to the way that I want. Obviously, I'm going to cross the lens now with the shot, so you might see the standing image. But you can kind of get an idea of kind of how we can control this light in the same way. If I want an overhead light, like a street light or whatever, raise the chin now, more. You can see how kind of dynamic that works. So I always like to have some kit that allows me to completely change the dynamic if I'm working alone, which most of the time through my career I am, except when we're in the room with the assistants. Let me switch this one off again. Oh, do you know what? Before I do that, I'm going to increase the power on all of the lights. So I'm going to go 1, 2, oh, would help if I put them group all. So I'm going to press this 20 times now. 1, 2, oh, wrong button. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And I'm not sure if you can see, but this numbers on all of the lights at this stage have all gone up together. So at this stage, I've just increased my exposure by a full 2 stops. So let's just check all of those lights together and see if they're doing their job. So it's all, so remember they're all on. We want to just see if the technique that I did was correct. And we can see pretty much now we've got the kind of correct exposure going into it. So that's the kind of the working technique that we use. If I was getting any flare back from a softbox, I've got the egg crates on the soft boxes, the strip boxes, yeah? But if you find yourself getting any flare back, stand something in the way. Preferably something that's not going to move. So don't put an assistant there. Put a piece of polyboard or whatever it will be to actually get the image. So from here now, if I just switch off my light up there, and now I use this same technique, I can basically, with firing all lights, I can completely change the look and the feel to the image quite dramatically by just moving the position of the light. So again, think about the style that you want to do. But remember, originally this light, its only job was to just light up, to give us some light across the thighs and actually the inner crotch and actually just kind of coming up there and things really. If we bring it all back in together again, let's do the same shot with all lights. It's kind of going to do its job. So you get a simple idea on that. Now you might not like that flat kind of honeycomb, full-on beauty dish look that I've got there. Kelsey, just move to that side a minute. I'm just going to push in the chair. So to kind of show how we kind of maximize the kind of the styling and everything else with it, let's bring in a chair. Kelsey, let's go to a seated pose. Let's sit right on the edge, pointing at me first. Square onto me. If it's impossible to do, say. Your hands are going to be out towards the side. Feet are going to be together. The knees are going to be together as well. Feet together for me. I'm definitely going to need to change lens a minute. Brandon, any questions there while I'm just changing across? So remember, guys, let's get some questions in if you're with us live. Be happy to answer them. Remember, the Photographer Academy is an online training company for all photographers, the hobbyists and the pros alike. We've got over 3,000 films online today. You can join from as little as 59 quid for the whole year and everything else with it. But again, what we do live at 5 on a Wednesday is inspiring you in technique, and I hope we've given you some ideas today. Right, so let me just drop my camera down in height first. So remember, one of the main demonstration pieces of kit that I use is the likes of the tether tools, cable, because that really is allowing me to actually show you the truth of the image, I call it. The video guys want all the actual polished photographs, all kind of finished and everything else, but I say, no, let's show them the truth. I'm just going to need to go down a little bit lower. So before I do the final image adjustments, let's just do a basic shot, but I know I need to move this honeycomb light down, as it is. I think it's flipping amazing. Let me just switch that one off. Switch that one off, okay. So I think it's pretty cool to begin with. So let me just move back a touch more. Try and compose in camera where possible. Again, the right lens for the job. So in other words, we've gone to a 50mm to give us a little bit more of a perspective, just kind of bellying, as it were. Let me just pull it back a touch more. So I'm not just doing this for you, I'm doing this so to minimize my post-production. Let me just move the focus point down onto the face. Quick test again. Now, I expected to have to move the honeycombed beauty dish down a little bit, and I think I should do. It's still just that little bit kind of just socketing those eyes, and I want it to actually kind of really kind of light the whole face and things really. So I'm definitely going to move that light down. So I'm using a poly stand. Just take a little bit of the weight. Come down a little bit. So in other words, if you had it at the height correct in the first place, obviously if the model or subject has moved about a foot, you're probably going to have to actually move that down as well. We've got this bagged, sandbagged on the arm and sandbagged on the stand as well with it and things really. Let's do a quick test on that one. So, let's have a little, oh, I love it. It's really good. Let's just kind of lower the chin a touch. I'm just going to go to group 1 and I go in 2, reduce the power down just a touch. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, that was group all now. And we'll do that same thing. Do it again. Lower the chin, Kels. Kelsey's looking directly into the camera, which is great for me. It saves my back. Lower the chin more. Take the hands out to the side of the chair more. Can you click the heels together as well? Lower the chin more, darling. Love it. We haven't shot this before. I really like it. You can't borrow my suit, though. I need it tonight. Okay, so let's kind of bring that up light. Now, before it was on the working exposure, let's just see what it's like first, okay? I can always kind of pull it back, lower the chin again. So remember, that's without it in, and this is with it in. And I'm telling all the lights to fire. So let me just bring that back. So it's obviously just got to be out of shot. Love it. Lower the chin more, please, Kelsey. Again, it's great. Can you cross the arms across the knees and lean forward to me as much as you can? That's lovely. Move the one arm across towards the side more and use that one over the side and cock up the wrist a little bit more for me. Lower the chin though, very strong woman. I'm just going to lower this down about a stop, yeah? So quicker for me to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I wonder if a stop is too much in fact, but let's do it for now. The only negative to what I just did was that now if I want to switch off group 1, I've got to remember to put that up by a stop and things. Okay, let's finish it, Kels. Let's do it again. Lower the chin. Serious, please. Let's pop the legs out to the side. So you're going to lean, please. That's it. Love it. Let me just have a little look. Oh. So let's come down a bit lower. So I'm going to shoot up. Focus again on the face where possible, or on the hand. Keep it. So I'm definitely going to see some of the light coming in on the foreground. Let's do it. So just want that light again. Lower the chin a little bit more, darling. Keep it. So you can see already that the light, in fact, is not enough on the grid. Let's kind of finish off with a few more shots. So remember, if you've got any questions, get them in now whilst we're live. We've got our last in our series of boudoir next week, or fashion kind of lighting for women next week. Let's just step across this back foot to me. That's what it's, no, I hate it. Take it back again. That's lovely. Can that right hand reach the sofa? No, it can't. Yes, it can. Sit up taller. That's lovely. Drop this down a little bit, I think. Let's have a little look. So just move that light onto her face as well. Use this, there you go. Let's do it. Turn the nose to me a little bit more. Again, it's great. Keep it. Bring the hand back across the stomach. Now, I've got to say, relax a minute. Kelsey is sucking in, all right, in the stomach. I'm going to tell her because she knows it's going to either look great or bad, all right? So otherwise, you've got to tell the client to relax. So as soon as I start to talk to you, she relaxes herself. You don't want a client losing their breath. Okay, lower the chin. I quite like that pose. Let's do it. Lower the chin more. Really lean into me a touch more because I'm losing your head. Let me just come back a touch more, I think. Yeah, I'm just going to come back a little bit. Stay there, Kels. Once more. Keep it. Okay, let's do it again. Lean the head onto this side. Let's go back to that sitting, kneeling, lounging towards me. So the feet straight for me again. Square on. Really lean into me now. Cross the arms. That's it. Let's do it. Keep it. And let's do a few lounging across the actual seat for me. Yeah, that's it. turning the head to me. Strong, powerful woman, that's it. Lower the chin more. Love it. Like that face a little bit more. Nice. And let's show you just before we finish, let's do what the different groups are. So this is group 1. That's the main light source actually onto the face. This is group 2, which is the bottom light. That's actually just lifting all the detail there. Group 3 is the left-hand corner light at 11 o'clock, 10 o'clock. And then we have group 4, which is the right-hand corner at the 1 to the 2 o'clock. And then combine all those together, we've got the image. Yay! Round of applause for Kelsey. Thank you, darling. Brilliant. Have a little Rex. Brilliant. Nice shot. Okay, questions? Anything for me?
Yeah, we have a couple of questions.
Ooh, questions. Like it.
So, just adjust the camera.
This episode is not brought to you by Coca-Cola. It's brought to me by me.
Okay, so the first question, a simple one, is do you use any filters or any sort of attachments to your lens or your camera?
Okay, so the simplest answer, do I use any filters on the front of the camera? The answer is no. The reason being, if you use a UV filter or a protector on the front, it tends to catch the light. Remember, a lens hood is designed to shield the lens, not the filter that you put on in front. So just that 4 or 5 mil that you actually put on the front is actually allowing some stray light. Obviously, if I'm going on holiday abroad or whatever it is, you know, going out to shoot on the streets, I usually do use a protective filter on there then, in case of the kind of the dust or the sand or whatever it would be. But otherwise, no. The only time I'd use a filter, you saw us use it last week, I think. Did we do plastic glass last week?
Yes.
Yeah, so oh, there it is. I'll be back. So, this is just a piece of frame plastic, so plastic from a frame, and then we've kind of scratched the different elements, we've kind of sprayed some of it as well, and then I would just actually, in front of the lens, I'd actually shoot through it and things really. That gives me a lovely hazy kind of look. I have used a lot of filters over the years for different reasons, of course, but I tend not to actually use a protective filter on the front. So I would use a polarizing filter if shooting outside and I want those skies to be bluer and the clouds to be whiter, guaranteed. I would use a softening filter years ago when I used to shoot Hasselblad in the film years. We used to buy the Hasselblad filters called Soft R1s and Soft R2s. And by the time you put it in your pocket with your change for a year, it basically a Soft R1 became a Soft R2 and a Soft R2 became a Soft R3. So then you have to, and the trouble is when you use a softening device, it's basically glass with all little bubbles in it. You can buy a cheap kind of alternative to that, I'm sure today. I wonder if you can grab my Chromatech filter pack. Fingers crossed you know where it is. But as far as the filters, when you use something with a bubble, thanks bud, when you use something with a bubble, it'll blow a highlight. That's what you've got to be aware of. But as long as you know that everything you put in front of the lens, including atmosphere, degrades the image, that's it. So as long as you understand that, you know you've got no trouble. These are as old as I am in photography, or almost, and things with it. So we've got things like a cheap polarizer there, but we also have some very, very expensive ones. These would all just go into a little bit of a holder that goes on the front of the lens. Then we have things like color corrections. We've got color effects for black and white photography, reds, blues, greens, and so on with it, mainly green and red. We've got some color correction kind of filters that go in. You probably actually today use more of a color correction in post-production, but obviously we'd still shoot like a film photographer and things really. But again, that's the only filters that we tend to use.
Okay. So another question is about the flow of the shoot. So you've got a bunch of little different lights. What ones would you use in the shoot? Would you use it all together straight away, or would you get variety in?
So question is that during the flow of a shoot, when do you decide to kind of shoot all of the lights, one light and so on. I think it comes with a bit of experience as well, going, right, now I'm going to shoot this series of images, now I want to shoot this series of images. You know, we don't always have to light the face to actually have great images. I do like faceless photographs as well, especially when I'm shooting the nude, whether it's man or woman. The faceless image for me is more of the study of the body and the shape and the kind of the muscle than it is actually the person's face. Even when I'm shooting some couples, at times over the years when we're looking more at an artistic kind of nude, the couple will be sculpted to work together, and then obviously then you've got to learn moving lights around and everything else. I definitely use an assistant at that point. But again, as far as what lights to switch on and off, it comes with experience and planning. So if you haven't got any idea of what you're going to do, don't start to think of ideas within the studio. Have at least a kind of a list of ideas to go into the shoot with, and then at the end of the first idea, assess the images, check them, take a coffee break or whatever it is, and if you've got to redo them again, especially when you're building up your technique, your experience, and your portfolio. As far as a flow is concerned, there's some really good films on the Photographer Academy to do with flow posing, especially in boudoir, because we're in this 6 weeks of full-on filming just based on that, as well as we've got live webinars on a Monday lunchtime at 1 p.m. UK time, which is always starting about a boudoir business. I think next Monday is the last episode, but you can re-watch them on the likes of the Academy. And we're kind of, today we actually did posing on the sofa, and I gave 12 flow poses that you can kind of create. We haven't used my funky chair here. I absolutely love this chair still. It's about 20 years old, but I still love it. Anyway, we've just gone through a standard sofa and given you ideas that you can pretty much shoot anywhere. But as far as posing flow, a lot of preparation, a lot of looking at ideas. Remember, if you're a Photographer Academy member, you can download some of our posing apps and posing ideas. One of the great ones, if you're stuck in the likes of boudoir or female photography specifically, I would definitely download the posing guides. Especially there's one which is featuring Kelsey, in fact, which gives you all the basic kind of ideas of what to do and what not to do. Brandon,
a few more questions.
A few more questions, yep, go.
We have one. I'm not too sure what they're trying to say. Somebody who's caption one, proofing. It says proofing at the top. Is that some sort of? They're asking if that's some sort of overlay or something that we got. Clear up that you shoot for camera.
Yeah. So the question was to do with Capture One. As far as the proofing is concerned, I actually don't use Capture One at all. We only shoot to it in demonstration. Brandon and myself for the past 5 months have been discussing that we need to learn Capture One, and I've been using it for about 4 or 5 years now. I originally used to shoot tethered via the tether tools cable into the likes of Lightroom, and goodness, it used to feel like, especially when we were in live demonstration, that it was taking forever. It's not so bad if you're shooting food or kind of a still life or whatever it be. There's no rush. But when you're photographing live on stage or live in a room with an art director, you need to see it come in a little bit quicker. And that's why I kind of looked at alternatives. And I was over in Sweden doing a demonstration at a big photo fair. I don't know when they're going to be back on the cards. Anyway, and I saw this great fashion photographer. Wish I could remember his name. They took 2 hours to build this set, and I'm thinking, he's on for 20 minutes of shooting and hanging tables upside down. The rig was amazing, yeah. And then he was shooting for about 20 minutes, but it took about a 2-hour rig. And then I'm coming on with one light, and I felt a little bit the poor man amongst the room, as it were. Anyway, while he was photographing, I literally walked over to the Capture One booth and I said, how much is the software? Can I get it now? And how easy is it to install? And they went, give me a laptop, I'll install it now. Gives you a credit card, of course, let's not forget that. I'll install it now, literally just plug in, I promise you it'll shoot every single time, and that's what it is. So I've got no idea what that proofing is, but it shows up on each image. We haven't set any presets or anything.
Great, okay. One last question.
One last question.
Are you using?
Okay.
And how are your images looking so good?
I'm using a 50 and an 85mm lens. We shot at the beginning at f2.2. I wanted quite a dramatic f-stop. I'd usually start off a minimum of f4 because I want a sharpness from nose to ear at least, yeah? Especially with the kind of the more 3/4 length images and so on. The further you go back, obviously the aperture, it can allow you to kind of have a little bit more of a wider open aperture, so you can shoot at 2.8, whatever it is, but I wanted something dynamic. That was the idea going in. I believe as a photographer, we've got 3 real creative elements that we get to choose. Obviously lighting, number 1. Where it's going to be, how hard it is, how soft it is, and so on. Number 2 is the actual lens that we basically use to actually show ourselves off. So even though I own zoom lenses, you know, we've all got a 24 to 105 and 28 to 70 and 70 to 200 and 100 400 and whatever it is and things. We've all got those, yeah. But a prime lens, if you could all learn to use a prime lens, you'll notice I'm not using any fancy Canon red line pro stuff. These are just a good Canon, I don't even know how old they are, to be honest, but they do their job until I drop it and I go buy a new one, yeah. So nothing special is going on in here at all, and of course so when you kind of look at the light and then you look at the lens, the third part you get to choose is your aperture, and when you choose your aperture, that really is, for me, the kind of the triangle in the creative process. There are other elements as well, but the depth of field that we choose with our aperture is dynamically going to change the image. And if you think that still today in the world, the average professional and amateur image taken is shot from 5 feet 2 inches height. It's shot with a medium zoom lens and it's an aperture of f8. It means if you're using more than one of those elements, you're on your way to be an average photographer. That's horrible to say out loud, but that's basically what I mean. So for me, a prime, it would use the aperture for creativity and not just for the convenience. Obviously with family shoots and everything else, or big groups, I'm going to need something like 8, 11, 16, 22, whatever it would be. But for general portraiture, obviously to fit the space and things really. So 85mm and the 50mm. Any other questions?
One just came through.
One just came in.
Kind of follow up. 85mm or 105mm.
Well, I've got the 105 as well, but the 105 you'll see in a few weeks' time when we're concentrating on commercial photography. I can't remember in 2 weeks' time if we're kicking off with a fine art shoot or it's another stage in our food photography and things really, but one of the two. So I tend to use the 105 for the fine art, for the kind of the still life photography, or when I need to actually go into a macro element. So for portraiture, I tend to use the 50 as my belly and my wide. I don't have a 35mm anymore, a 24mm, which is a bit of a shame. I haven't replaced those in a long time, and I should do. But really, 50mm is my go-to lens. Remember, it's not the perfect portrait lens at all. It's what the lens that you like, and I like it. It has a little bit more of an editorial feel, whereas the 85mm is basically my portrait lens. Any other questions?
There you go. Yeah, that's it.
Look, guys, thanks for joining me live. I hope you've enjoyed this session. I love to show you images straight out of camera like we've seen. Head over to the Academy whenever you can. We've got great offers going there. Remember, join as a pro member for £59 for the year, or as a business member for the £99 for the year, and it gives you a full year streaming, ad-free, everything else with it, plus some great deals from our trade partners. You get apps from us. Don't forget though, whether you're a member or not, we publish a great bi-monthly magazine called The Big Photo, and the next one is actually just about to go live, and I'm not sure if there's going to be a link in the page how you go and download it. I never feature in there. All I get to do is write the introduction, and because I'm not a part of the magazine editorial at all, do you know what? I've never been invited. I know they're putting a headshot one in this month from I wrote about 3 years ago, because they had a request for it back in, but otherwise I don't get asked to actually write in my own magazine, which is a bit of a shame. Anyway, thanks for joining me live, guys. Stay safe out there. Remember, you can join us here live Wednesdays at 5 for another great session, I hope. Take care. Bye-bye.